Hello everyone, in this video let's work on some forward contract example. First of all, definition. A currency forward contract is an agreement between a corporation and a commercial bank to exchange a specified amount of a currency at a specified exchange rate on a specified date. And the exchange rate agreed upon is called forward rate. Now let's look at one example. Assuming that we have an US-based exporter of shoes, and this company just get a new order for next year from a French importer. The US company will receive a payment of 100 million euro in 1 year. If the exporter decided to sell that receivable 100 million euro at the forward rate of $1.5 per euro, the cash flow and maturity date will look like that. First of all, the exporter have to deliver the shoes, right? Have to ship the shoe to the EU importer, and the EU importer will pay €1 million, right? Now, what happened with that €1 million? According to the forward contract, the US exporter will deliver €1 million to the other party of the forward contract. And how much it received? It received 1 million times 1.5. What is 1.5? It is the forward rate, right? So basically it will receive 1.5 million US dollar. Now the question here is, can anything change? Can this 1.5 million change? The answer is no. The forward contract guarantee that the US exporter will receive $1.5 million as long as it pay 1 million euro. So you can imagine that here is the foreign exchange market. The value of euro change up and down all the time. However, once you have the forward contract in place, no matter what happened in the foreign exchange market, no matter what happened to the value of euro in the foreign exchange market, the rate US exporter receive is locked at $1.5 per euro, and the total amount of US dollar it received will be locked at 1.5 million US dollar. Okay? So it eliminates all kind of uncertainty or volatility. Second example. On March 10, Green Bay Inc., a US company, hired a Canadian construction company and agreed to pay 2,000 Canadian dollar for the work on September 10, which is 6 months from March 10, right? So, in order to eliminate the risk, the US company Green Bay agreed to buy 200,000 Canadian dollar from a bank at the rate of 70 cents per Canadian dollar, and the transaction will be executed on September 10. So you can see here is a cash flow at September 10. First of all, Green Bay received the completed work, right? All Canadian contractor complete the work. And in exchange, Green Bay pay Canadian contractor 200,000 Canadian dollars. Because Green Bay already agreed to buy Canadian dollar with a forward contract, here is what happened. The forward contract counterparty will deliver to Green Bay 200,000 Canadian dollar. Okay? And Green Bay will pay 70 cents per Canadian dollar. In other words, the total amount of US dollar it pay is 0.70 times 200,000, which is about what? 140,000 US dollar. So you can see that for Green Bay, the cash flow for Canadian dollar is not matter anymore, because on one hand it received 200,000 and on the other hand, it paid 200,000. So Green Bay basically have zero position on Canadian dollar. What happened to Green Bay is it received the completed work and it paid $140,000, right? So it is actual cost in US dollar for the completed work. Okay. Now, adding to example 2, after 1 month, which is on April 10, the Canadian construction company informed Green Bay that it would not be able to perform the work. So suddenly, the Green Bay now have an open position in Canadian dollar. So it needs to close that existing forward contract. How can it do? It simply sell forward 200,000 Canadian dollar for September 10. And in the market, the forward rate for September 10 now is 0.66. Remember, from the previous slide, the rate is 0.70, right? So the rate changed. So what happened? So here's what happened in September 10 for Green Bay. Remember that we have 2 forward contracts. The first one on March 10, and the second one is the new one on April 10. So here's what happened. For the first forward contract, Green Bay agreed to buy 200,000 Canadian dollar, right? At which rate? At 70 cents. Okay, and if you multiply with $200, you know how much Green Bay have to pay, right? Now, for the second contract, it want to get rid of the 200,000 Canadian dollar, and that is why it sell 200,000. So this caused a cash outflow of 200,000 Canadian dollar. Okay, how much it get? Because here it sell 200,000 Canadian dollar, right? Definitely it gets some US dollar back. So according to the new contract, for 1 Canadian dollar, it get 0.66. So the total value, oops, sorry, this arrow should be the right, right? So the total value will be 0.66 times 200,000. So look at that. You can see that the 200,000 Canadian dollar received from one contract will be used to pay to the other contract. So on September 10, Green Bay has no balance on Canadian dollar. The only thing matter to Green Bay is it receives some US dollar and it pay out some US dollar. If this amount greater than the first contract amount, it means somehow, some way, you know, it makes some money unintentionally, right? On the other hand, if the second contract cash inflow here is less than the cost for the first contract, so Green Bay incurs some loss. You can easily calculate it, right, by compare what it get over here and what it pay over here. Okay, and then you can easily figure out the net impact, right? Or the net cost or the net profit. Okay, thank you. I come back with the future contract.